Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. I would say that Karen Bass, the Democrat mayor of Los Angeles, got a taste of her own medicine when a suspected thief broke into her official residence Sunday morning, but who are we kidding? It's not like it'll change her radical Marxist stance against policing. Bass will just demand that the suspect, who was apprehended without incident after smashing through a window of the home while she and her family were there, be punished. While she'll also keep demanding that regular tax-paying citizens who were similarly victimized in her own city just bite the bullet and take one for the team, because we have to understand criminals are just marginalized members of the community. You can't punish them for what an unjust society makes them do. It's just like how Secret Service assigned to protect Hunter Biden's daughter Naomi were allowed to shoot at would-be car thieves in Georgetown last November. But any regular Joe Schmo trying to protect the sweat of his own brow from thieves would have faced the Daniel Penny treatment, regardless of whether the suspects were shot or not. So now we add Karen Bass to the growing list of far-left Democrats and Soros-backed government officials who have been victimized by their own foot soldiers. We add her name to what happened to former California Senator Barbara Boxer, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Democrat Congressman Henry Cuellar, Louisiana District Attorney Jason Williams, and more. And now, in this environment where there are so many criminals and so much violence, can you really blame employers for wanting to take an extra close look at the backgrounds of potential employees? Well, according to a new lawsuit, you can't. That's racist. Biden's administration, through the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, is making the argument in federal court that Sheetz convenience stores racially discriminate against Black and Native American applicants through its reliance on criminal background checks to weed out undesirable applicants. Wow, that isn't David Duke's argument. That's the Biden administration's argument in court. This also shows the flaws at the heart of how civil rights law was written back in the 60s and 70s. As well-intentioned as it was, some of the particulars have proved to be breeding grounds for the left's race and sexual deviancy-based form of communism. For example, the doctrine of disparate impact. If any rule or regulation can be proven to have a disparate impact, meaning more people of one race or group are affected by it than other groups, it's automatically assumed to be racist, even if there's no racism to be found anywhere in it, by common sense objective standards. Just like with Sheetz not wanting to hire a bunch of criminals, that's pretty straightforward, don't you think, and definitely not racist. But if they operate in locations with certain demographics, then of course the race hustler Ben Crump types can have a field day with it, both making more money and getting more attention for their fake racism narratives, and by further eroding law and order in this nation at the same time. It's a win-win for the left and a lose-lose for the rest of us. Joining us now to discuss is former law enforcement officer Mike Pugliese, the founder of the Pugliese Law Firm. Mike, thanks for being here tonight.
Kara, thank you for having me. Yeah, you know, it doesn't make any sense. DEI has now encompassed total common sense, taken it over, because this lacks any logic you can put to it. So basically, if I'm understanding this right, we're going to penalize this convenience store, which is by the way, it's a family-owned operation. 90% of that business is owned by the family. And it seems like the DOJ purposely goes after family-owned operations and try to exert government control. But if I'm getting the story right, if they properly vet an applicant due to his criminal background and deny employment, somehow that is racial. And that is what they're focused on. And now we're looking at what are we going to do when they start hiring a huge number of thugs to come in and operate these stores, and they rape a customer, they attack a customer, they steal money, they assault fellow employees. Is this store going to be liable now, or are we going to do away with those laws? Has DOJ thought this out? You know, all this started back with defund the police. That's the way they got rid of a lot of our good police officers, is by going after the good police officers through the defunding propaganda. And now we're seeing this with local businesses, and they're slowly just taking over one step at a time. And we're seeing this over and over and over. It doesn't stop. And it's absolutely crazy. And you scratch your head and say, what has the DOJ become? Well, we know what it's become. It's become a weapon of the Biden administration, with Obama pulling the strings and doing his agenda, which you spelled out properly, a form of communism, take over all areas of our life. And that's what we're seeing right now. This makes no sense whatsoever.